All right, next step, now what we're gonna do one high pull, one snatch, but we're gonna come a little bit lower down. We're gonna come above our knee, all right? So my feet are going to be in my jumping, my hip distance stance, right? Back side, I want you to set up from the top down every single time. So get the back tight, push your knees out, come to that high hang position, then we're gonna come down to just above the knee. All right, from here, what I wanna think about, getting vertical. Bring my hips to the bar, straight up for a high pull. I wanna see those elbows up. I want you to shrug, drive those elbows up, high and outside. Then we come back down to that same position. We're gonna do one power snatch. Bring it back down, one squat snatch, if we can get down there. If we can get into the squat position, we're gonna get all the way down, all right? If not, then it'll be 2 power snatches, which is fine, okay? My name is Lauren Fiske. I live in Sicklerville, New Jersey, originally from Alexandria, Virginia, and I am a coach at Crossfit Off the Grid. I played a lot of sports growing up. I played soccer from the time I was really young through high school, played field hockey, played lacrosse, ran track. Always lifted weights. I was the only girl in high school in the weight room, and that's kind of why I ended up in strength and conditioning, I think. I went to graduate school for a master's in exercise science. I have personal training certifications through the NSCA and NASM. I've also gotten CrossFit Level 1 certified, CrossFit Kids certified, CrossFit Olympic lifting certified. I got an advanced Olympic lifting certification through my coach's company, Taunton Training Systems. And I also might have the chance to shadow with Coach Bergner and his coaches for the CrossFit Olympic lifting certs, which is, to me still, I can't really believe it. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Started Olympic lifting when I was in graduate school, and CrossFit hadn't really become that big yet, but it was still around. And the more I started Olympic lifting, I actually heard more negative things about CrossFit initially from my coaches, like, oh, don't do that, it's crazy, this, that, and the other. Well, I just started hearing more and more about it, especially when I moved to New Jersey, and I was just really curious. And I had been lifting for probably 5 or 6 years, and I love Olympic lifting, I'll always love it, it's my first love, but I tend to get bored easily, so I needed something new and different. Drop under the bar, right? So both legs are at 90 degrees, ideally. So front shin is close to vertical. Whole entire foot is flat. I want to make sure that I can drive that whole foot into the ground. My back foot, that is a lot of times what commonly goes wrong. So right now I'm on the ball of my foot. I can pretty much hold this position. I'm pretty stable. I can just hang out here. With weight over my head, yes, it changes a little bit, but I'm very tight through my hips. If I drop that foot down, changes the whole position. My mom has always been one of those people in my life that she's like my best friend. My parents got divorced when I was really young, and she raised my sister and I. My dad was always in the picture, but she definitely bore the brunt of raising us alone. And my father's also one of my role models because he has lived through so much and he's such a fighter. And you know, he's honestly why I'm in this field. Not necessarily why I'm a CrossFit coach, but I started to go to grad school after he experienced he had congestive heart failure and then went through a heart transplant. So when he went through that, I decided I wanted to go back to graduate school. Initially thinking I was going to go for cardiac rehab, and then at the program where I was, they had strength and conditioning as something that kind of came along while I was in grad school. So I started taking some of those courses and fell in love with it. And I love helping people, and it's kind of like the perfect fit. So it's because of him really that I am doing what I'm doing. So some of the challenges from kind of, I guess, crossing over from Olympic lifting to CrossFit, doing both, I have to say that I'll never stop Olympic lifting, and I still train and compete, but I do some of the WOD, just don't tell my coach, because it's, sometimes it's counterproductive, and I can tell when I overtrain, I feel a lot slower. So that's been one of the hardest things, because I want to do it all, but I have to keep in mind that what my ultimate goal is, which is still competing in Olympic lifting. So definitely the touch and go stuff with cleans and snatches is not the easiest for me. It was hard because I focused so much on technique that I wasn't used to just going. I think Helen is probably my favorite girl WOD because it's one that every time I do it, I improve on, which is exciting for me. My pull-ups, stringing my pull-ups together has been one of those things with kipping that has been a struggle for me since day one. So the fact that I can see the progress that's exciting. My least favorite girl WOD is, I'd probably have to say Isabella Grace, because it kind of goes against everything I was taught with Olympic lifting. And I get the point of it, and I'm still able to do them with good form, and thank God my form can maintain throughout the 30, but they feel awful when I do them. So if I turn the foot in and land like this, which is really common, my hips are completely open. I'm not very stable at all. So what a jerk balance does really focuses on the dip. So I'm gonna put my back foot in that position so I'm on the ball of my foot. I'm gonna position my front foot so I'm a little bit wider than my hips. Not too much, because what I'm gonna do with the bar, I'm going to dip, punch, hold my split, then I'm gonna recover my front foot back, bring the bar back down. Everyone asks me, well, I'm scared to do CrossFit. I can't do it. I'm not in shape enough. And I think that's ridiculous. I think it's an excuse, because most of us can come up with excuses when we're trying to find that thing that we want to do to challenge ourselves, or get into the habit of working out. I say if you are curious about CrossFit, come try a class. Do it. You never know unless you try it. And here, I know at our box, we can scale everything. We will make sure that you're able to do whatever it is. I mean, I tell people all the time, my first class, the toes to bar and the handstand push-up, I had never done a handstand push-up. I don't think I'd ever even been inverted before. And, I did it. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't fun, but I did it, and I'm hooked. After that day, that's when Mark sat down with me and said, hey, have you ever thought about coaching CrossFit? And I said to him, did you just see me? That was the worst workout ever. But, everyone can do it, and anyone should try it. Yay! How'd I do? So funny. Cool. I get so nervous.